Alrighty, it's Show Us Your Tips, Daggy and Beaver with you to get stuck into the last official spring meeting this year as we return to Caulfield for Zipping Classic and such. Beaver, how are you travelling?
I'm travelling well, thanks, Daggy. Good to see you. Good to be chatting to you again, and back into it for another week.
Always a pleasure. Big shout out to Barney, whose empty smokes and whatever else going back there is happening from earlier in the week. But anyway, different story. Sorry, he's just told me to leave him at the waffle as we logged on, but here we are. You're in Randwick Town for the golf tomorrow.
Yeah, going to go out and have a look at the Aussie Open golf, mate. Take the young bloke and see what walk around for the day.
Beauty. All the best with that. It's been a minute, so we should, I guess, get stuck into Caulfield. It's been a long time since last weekend. Does that really float your boat from a week ago?
Too long ago, mate. Nothing really. Had an okay weekend, if I do recall. Jimmy's Star, I thought that was a really good win, and a progressive type in the last race there. So that was a nice win, and I'll detonate a jack. Beaver was on fire there.
Good job. Let's get stuck into Caulfield, though, where we've got rain around. It's officially right now a soft track. 5 mils tomorrow, 5 mils Saturday. I'm not freaking out about it being too heavy, but it will be rain affected. The rail goes out 5 metres. And I guess standard Caulfield trains pretty well. Like I said, I don't think it's been bottleness. I'm more worried about Caulfield in regards to that. But any thoughts how it might play?
Look, I'm thinking probably both Rosehill and Caulfield, probably kind of leading more towards the leaders on pace runners at this stage.
Yeah, fair commentary too. We kick off with the 2-year-olds in the first, the Merson Cooper, 1,000 metres, listed race, the race which Animo won on debut a couple of years ago. And we've got plenty of debutants here. Has anything caught your eye?
Tricky little affair to start the day, mate. The one that did catch my eye was Anisa from the Moody Coleman stable. Only had the one start in a Group 3 at Flemington. Showed enough there to suggest it can run well again in this, and with that bit of race experience, I'm going for it on top.
I actually came the same way. I think Anisa can win. That was a pretty nice debut, and obviously better for the run. That was a decent enough form race, I think. Damien Lane jumps on, we'll roll forward, and on top for me, from Voyle, who will roll forward for Jamie Carr. The blue colours there, trialled in Sydney, trialled down south, and lovely as well. But, I think 1, 5, 6, 8 will all win races. It's just, I think that race experience will count here, and we'll go that way to start the day. The second is an 1,800 metre benchmark 70, and Starry Ann's nominated for both Friday night and here. I think this is that midway race of now put in on a Saturday. I'm going to go with a wash. Has put a few together in a row and has done it pretty softly each time. I think coming through the grades, and when you actually get stuck into this race, I don't think there's much cuts here. So around a $4.80. I'm going to stick with it. You may even get an each-way price. I'm going to put it on top from Unfair Dismissal, who I had a feel going into a couple of weeks back, went wide and had a win out at Ararat. Comes back here, probably leads or sits outside Vasmy, and I think it's going to run well enough at $15. In a tricky race, I'm thinking Starry Ann, unless it's real wet, goes to the Valley on Friday. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it'd probably go to the Valley as well. And for that reason, I've gone for a wash as well. Winning form's good form at this time of year. It was solid enough last start. It kept working to the line and stuck on nicely there. I think the extra distance suits, and I think it can posse up here and just work home nicely and be the better middle distance stayer.
Beautiful. We get out to the proper distance stays next, which is the Whispering Angel Handicap, 2,400 metres, benchmark 84. Who have you come up with?
Yeah, I've come up with Cadmus. I like this horse. I think it's got enough ability to keep progressing through some of the grades here and out to the 2400. I think it's perfect now. Fourth running this time in, had a couple of wins. Second there, gets the right setup, right draw, and this is not an overly tough field. Hardest to beat Fire Glow 2 on the quick backup. Ultra consistent. Was there or thereabouts last start when they just got ran over. Pretty consistent and probably runs well again.
Cadmus definitely has least convictions. We're going to have a bit of both. All that form from that race is going to show the Friday night and Saturday, so we'll get a bit of an idea as we head into this. I think it's most obvious. I'm sorry, but I'm actually going to have something on Kabosh here. I apologise in advance. Probably is a cat, but did make an early race move when Nash tried his best to get into the race last time out. I don't think the form out of that race is the worst compared to some of this. The flick to Melbourne, getting D-Lane on deep in a prep, bit of rain-affected track. We'll find out. Chasing Spaycaster and Co. might not be the worst form, around $10. So for the sake of the tip, I'll put it on top. Cadmus, as I said, least convictions. If you told me Pesto was the best horse and you're happy to back at $6, I wouldn't argue with you. They're the three here in an average race. Race 4 is the Twilight Ghost Stakes, the first of the black type, which is a 3-year-old fillies race over 1,400 metres. Who've come up with Beaver?
Yeah, I think hard to go past the favourite here, Mirabelle Rose. Third up now after running a place in a Group 3. It's beat the second favourite here comfortably. First up, and then was a good second. Last start, I think this sets up perfectly here. Gate 4 has everything going in its favour here, and it's going to be the hardest to beat, that's for sure.
Every step up in distance Extremely Radley has been a tick. I think on the quick backup from a nice win last week, 1,400 metres, Jai McNeil has found some form. Coming here, sets up well at an each-way price. At that each-way price, I'm going to put on top. I can understand exactly why you've said that about Mirabelle Rose. Comes out of a decent race there. Just didn't nab the leader, which was in what a leader's track, or a rails track, so they say. So you got to give that a tick. And next best will be Flying Fizz, who keeps chasing the line and hitting it well. And I think 1,400 metres, as suggested by that win, holds no fears. Yenda will have it closer in the run and is next best. The fifth is an 1,800 metre Group 3 stakes, the Eclipse. And I did not spend much time thinking about this race. As we've made the case for, well, I've made the case for 4 races in a row, but 3 races in a row at least. Ain'tnodeeldun is flying. Really come back in fantastic order this time. Get through the softer conditions fine. I think it's just got to run down the 2 plotters up front, which are Just Folk and Keats. And if it does that again, which is done in style whole time in, I think $3.10 to me looks like a pretty good price, Beaver. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right there, mate. It's hard to go away from that form. It just keeps doing what it needs to do, and it can take up a good posse. And it worked hard last time and still found the line strong. And I think if it gets another decent run here, it's going to be the hardest to beat.
Beautiful. The next is the 1,400 metre Kevin Heffernan Stakes, another Group 3, weight for age level. And we've got quite the field here. Has anything excited you? I thought the favourite was short, is all I'd say.
I thought it was a bit short, but it is back a lot in grade here. I kind of went looking for something to beat it, and I really couldn't come up with anything. And if you go back to its form, I mean, it's finished only 3 lengths by Magic Time last start, 1 length behind Cause for Concern. I think that's kind of decent kind of form lines for a race like this, and then back only a couple of lengths behind I Am Me. So I think it meets the weakest company that it's met in some time now back in this grade. And for that reason, I think you're right, a little bit short, but I just think it's probably too good for some of these other horses outside of Unusual Concept. They're pretty hard to catch. I know Pesquero won last start, but that was 50s and hadn't done a lot prior to that. Villiana for me.
Yeah, it's been my horse for such a long time, but I just feel like I want to take it on. It's just starting to get a bit of a a number feel about it, but it does. It probably actually has the best form in Australia. The more I think about this, chasing, think about it, and Magic Time. But unusual culture at $5 each way looks pretty good to me. It was just a complete barrier trial for first up. Fell at the back, really hit the line nicely in a proper sprint race there. I'm going to make it my top pick here. Terrified of Viliana, and I think King Magnus is the other borderline Group 1 horse that has to run well here, and I'm actually a bit surprised it's not second favourite. I'm going to try and cover 10 and 3 and see how I go with the result on that, but might well blow them away, Villana. Especially on a wet track, actually, the more I think about this. But the 7th is the Sandown Guineas, a mile Group 3, and I'm really annoyed here because Power of the Brave is going to win this race because I've had enough of it. But I'm putting Arkansas Kid on top, going well enough, comes through some nice form lines. I think out to the mile's not a real fear here. Zara jumps on top for me from Power of the Brave and Mow down next best. So market order, but there's not a lot to this race, is there, Beaver?
Not a lot to this race, but I'm going to go for Modown. I thought it was a really good run last start, chasing home Swartz, who I think is a horse of huge potential. And then prior to that, it won its maiden and won pretty comfortably there. It's been competitive in all its 4 races, and some in one last one in listed company against what I think is a quality horse. I think it can actually run a big race in this, so I've got it on top.
Cool. The feature is the Zipping Classic 2,400 metres, race 8 at Weight for Age Group 2 level. And who have you come up with? We've lost Shokamova, which is a bit disappointing, actually.
Yeah, it is. Oh, mate, I'm going to go with Muramasa. Winning form is good form, and I'm surprised to see that Duke Jigsaw has been backed into favourite. After it was beat fairly convincingly by the other horse last start. I know there's probably a slight turnaround in some of the weights, but I don't think that's going to be enough to turn the tables.
Why is it? Yeah, because obviously I was really bullish on Muramasa last time against Duke Jigsaw. It beat at all merits. Why is this shorter? Is it the wet track?
Well, I think it's just to pull in the weights. Maybe the wet track. Duke Jigsaw has had 4 on the soft and been 2 wins, 2 placings, but the other one's won in the soft before. So, yeah, I don't know. I couldn't work it out, and that's why I went the way of Muramasa.
Yeah, I'm with Muramasa as well. I've been with it all the way through. It'll win again. It's a proper horse. I hope they put it away and come back and clean up in the autumn and head to the spring. $4.20 looks a nice price to me. You're gonna have a nice pace with Nine Knowledge rolling out in front. And Val Leclerc's coming off a Melbourne Cup. You don't tend to see tell a lie. You do tend to see horses come and win this race off Melbourne Cup, but you're coming off a grand final in a deep prep to beat a fresh horse here. I think $4.20.
Well, there's plenty of pace on here too.
Yeah,
as you said, Deny Knowledge, Serpentine will go forward. Val Leclerc,
Military Mission.
Military Mission. So there's plenty of pace here.
Yeah, I think best horse. I hope this rubber stamps it as a proper horse. I'm forgiving some of those soft track fails because the horse, I think, he had breathing issues and a few other things last prep. So we'll wait and see how it goes here. But we're getting a price for a good horse, I think. Looking forward to seeing it win this and go on to better stuff. The 9th is the 1,600 metre Summer Stakes for the girls. And I think that the market's coming with the right favourite here. Revolutionary Miss, nice enough win last time out against a disappointing favourite. But it is on top, gets a nice run here, can lob into either box seat or even Cito herself had to, but I just don't think this is a particularly strong race. In fact, I'm just trying to work out who's going to lead this the more I think of this. I think he pushes forward. Mickey D won't take any prisoners, and it goes on top. I really struggled coming to any favourites. I think the last file back from 2000 will run well. And Zanzella, I know it's 2 years off, but a proper horse has had 4 or 5 trials for this, and the last few are really good, and its 60s I'll have $10 each way on it just because I think it's might be better than some of this. This is an average Group 3, but have you seen this any differently?
No, I haven't. Revolutionary Miss for me is a nice play in this. That was a really good win last start. Bounced back to its best. Beat a good horse. I think it beat it fair and square. Sat in behind it. Was a great ride. And then when the gap opened, it just moseyed on past. I don't even think it was extended, to be honest. And I don't think there's going to be too many here that's going to extend it either.
Correct. The last is the Doveton Stakes, a listed race to wrap up the Spring Carnival, 1,200 metres. We were both waxing lyrical about Jigsaw last week. Have they pulled the right string and you're waiting for this?
Well, I hope so, because I'm going to stick with it. I think it's, again, same reasons as previously. It's drawn perfectly here. It can take up the running here, control the pace, and it could be lights out if that's the way the race is run.
100%. Yeah, this is probably a better setup because there's less pace in this race despite the deteriorating track. Yeah. If they turn up, it's going to get complete control. I like Dean Moore on top. He gets this right more often than not. Has to run well from Gravina, who has had 2 non-events up north, comes down south out of the Sebring, or son of Sebring, wet tracks its go, sucking with Mick D on top, but $13 is the main danger. I won't be losing if either of those two win. I think this is a lovely race to finish the day for us. Can we finish the day, Beaver, with a quaddie?
Yeah, we can. I'm going to try and be a bit clever and leave 1 or 2 out here to try and get a bit more value. So first leg, race 7, leg number 1, I'm going number 2, Power of the Brave, number 3, Mowdown, number 8, Vivier, and number 9, Sunset Dreaming. In the second leg, which is race 8, I'm going number 1, Vow and Declare, number 7, Duke de Sessa, number 10, Muramasa. In the third leg, I'm going number 1, Revolutionary Miss, number 6, Picaroon, number 10, Long Time Dreaming. And in the last leg to finish the day, I'm going number 1, Lauda Sion, number 2, Jigsaw, number 8, Ganati, and number 3, Lombardo.
Beautiful. I would almost take on Duke de Sessa and leave it out, but that's a different story. Your best and value for progroupracing.com.au.
My best is race 9, number 1, Revolutionary Miss. And my value is race 10, number 2, Jigsaw. It's overs.
Absolutely it is. And race 5, number 3, Ain'tnodeeldun is my best on the card here. I've lost Shock 'em over, so let's make... I didn't tip it on top, but I think Gravina at $13 is value in the last. Race 10, number 5. I think it's more a Cornell play for us to see if we can get out in the last as we head back up to Rosehill on what will be a rail true track. Currently a heavy 8. Didn't get the storms today. There's some rain coming tomorrow, but I want to see some rain tomorrow and Saturday before it's complete doom and gloom. I've treated this as a slightly worse side of heavy, but not bottomless by any means, at Rosehill. And we're going to kick off with the babies in the first. I think with Rail and True, I think it means almost fair. If you handle conditions, I think you can run on. I think you can. Everyone can have their chance here, Beaver.
I think that's probably the way, although I've probably kind of led to a little bit more on pace in some of my selections, but we shall see.
2-year-olds in the first, a Kiora Parg handicap, 1,100 metres. How are we starting today?
Yeah, I've gone for the favourite here, mate. I think it holds the key. The first starter from the Waterhouse stable and Storm Boys trialled well for this. Money's for it and it's expected to run well.
Yeah, has been saved from a couple other events. It goes on top, leads, and kicks off the day with a winner. I think this is a nice two-year-old race, though. Trafalgar Square sat outside lead in that $1 million race. Before that looked good in the trials. Might get burnt again by this leader, but it does have race fitness and is the main danger. And Traffic Warden's last trial was fantastic. So I think there might be some form out of this race. So looking forward to seeing it play out. The second is the Midway, a benchmark 72 over 2,000 metres. And I'm going to go with Celestial Fury here. Don't particularly go looking for Hawkesbury form, but the horse that beat it at Hawkesbury a couple back came out and won on a Saturday. It ran well at a decent meeting there at Hawkesbury on Ladies' Day. Gets control and meets a bunch of beat-up horses here. Mitch Bill pushing forward. I think you run well here, about the $5 mark. I want to make California Grass the main danger and make this big case for it, but then the market's come up with its second favourite. I guess I'm going to the same way. Apache Bell and Carpetbagger are both coming off decent metro runs and will run well, perhaps over the odds, whatever that means. But that's the way I've gone here. What do you think?
I don't have an answer for that. Is there?
Sorry, Beaver, I've just lost you. Siri. There we go. You're back. Go again.
No, I was just saying I'm leaving this one to you, mate, because I did the form for this and couldn't work it out and went, no, I'll stay out of this one. This can be for the Dagster.
See how we go. You're going to leave me a highway soon, aren't you? But before we get there, we've got the 1,800 metre benchmark 78 first. Tavi Time is nommed for the Mudgee Cup as well, so that's still here. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I do like Tavi Time if it comes to this. Progressive type horse. That was a nice win last start. After it got too far out of its ground first up. Worked home nicely there. Progressive type, stepping up the extra 200 and one of the better bets if it comes here.
If it's here, it wins. I'm just looking now to see if it's still in at Mudgee. Still in as far as I can see at Mudgee. You can probably get even money right now. If it runs there, it will piss in. If it's not here, which I've assumed, I've ended up coming up with State of America on top with Hippo, again drawing a good gate. Over raced last time, but can push forward here with a bit more pace with the likes of Oakfield Waratah leading and get a nice enough run from Unanimous, who comes out of a shit race, but he's on the quick back up and at least won last week. Let's see how it plays out because, yeah, if Tavi Time's here, it's probably a complete moral. The fourth is a Class 2 highway handicap. Did something excite you?
Well, not overly, but I did land on number 7, the Lions Gate.
Mm-hmm.
Good combination here for these types of races. Well done combination. Always in and about in these types of races. So I had it on top, and I thought one of the dangers was number 10, Wilbury, who's going really good. Had a bit of a freshen up for this and around the $15 mark. So they were the two I was sort of playing in this.
There's two easy bets here to have, and they're the two done runners. One's got Nash on it, $7 coming off, two nice runs. And that, I think you tipped John Rambo up there, time it did it.
I did.
But two nice runs now. Third up comes here, gets Nash. It's just the keys to the kingdom here. That's what is it? Still $7. And a Danger's a stablemate. Orient Secret actually comes off first up win, which is a nice win in a decent enough Queensland race. Gets Hippo, does have an outside gate, but it's $13 and $4 a place from the market I'm looking at. I can back both each way, and I think you get a collect on this race. Next best is Tanglewood, who has done some good stuff, has trialled well since, and did start last time out $2 or $2.30 at Canterbury in front of Silent Sar, who's a proper metro horse. I think there's a long tail in this race, and I think we're getting value over some talented horses here. I'll definitely cover the two done runners. I may save on Tanglewood. That's how I've seen this. So just easy bets to have for me, and that's how I'll play it. The fifth is a benchmark 78 over 1,400 metres, and I could only come up with one runner here, and that's the favourite, Shadows of Love, just flying. Plows through the wet. Nice win last week. And comes to a pretty average race. Tim Clark on, who did everything right last time out. And I think this is still value. It's on top. If it was drier, I would definitely make the case for Lekfate, but from what I can see, it doesn't really go in the wet. And the rest of this stuff, like Afterlight's had a cut. It's 2 wins this prep have just been jump to the front lead and non-events. So there's a bit of a tail here, and I just think this is a really comfy bet for me again. So what do you think?
I'm going to go for Afterlight based on that. I think it might jump to the front here. Shadows of Love, I don't think was going to probably take it on. So for that reason, I think it holds the key. And if it can sort of get the right draw here and get in front and hold Shadows Love on the outside, it might have to just do that little bit extra work if it wants to sort of go head-to-head with it. But otherwise, I think Afterlight might be able to control this race and just might suit the front runner here.
Cool. The 6 is the Country Classic. Over 2,000 metres, essentially another highway. Have you come up with much?
Well, I've got to come up with one, and one of them's got to be the Masara horse, right? So now I'm going for Akasawa. I think this steps back now into this type of company that really sets up nicely for it here. Ran okay in the Kosciuszko, and then wasn't disgraced in the big dance either. So they were far better quality races than what it meets here. So now back in the right grade, third up, gets the right draw. Yeah, it does have to carry the 62, which is a reasonable ask, but this is it's not the toughest race going around, so I've got it on top.
Broken record for me. I'm just putting Eagleman on top. Nash done. Came home in better time than Spangler in the little dance there, and had Chad Schofield drag it back from an outside gate, sit there, and then fly home. I think Nash will be more positive here, and putting it in the race will be a better result. The beautiful thing about this race is I got to watch that replay of Nash on rematch several times because, God, that was a great ride. Rematch doesn't win this race without Nash on top. And I got to pen a heap of these. Next best, I actually sort of came up with Spitfire with the claim in the wet, if it's really wet. Back to the inside, I think runs okay. But gate 1, probably not fantastic for this. The 7th is the Festival Stakes, 1,500 metre Group 3 feature. And this is an average affair. Just looking at scratchings now. I think we get a nice result here. It's easy again for me to back Grabini. This is a nice horse. Resumed without the best of luck. Went out to Goulburn in a proper race in a Goulburn Cup. Beat a key rival in Fearson and beat it pretty comfortably. This is a proper group horse here, and you're getting 440 in an average race. I'm going to have a crack at it. It's on top from me. From Acquitted, who's also known for Queensland. I'm interested to see where it goes, but nice resumption. Hit the line really well at double figures. And next best, we'll go with Fearson, who did run the corner with Grabini last time out. Have you found much else? I suppose Fine Point will run well from gate 1.
Yeah, that's where I landed Fine Point. I did narrow it down to 2, Grabini and Fine Point. Was actually kind of struggling to split the pair, but I went with Fine Point just on the basis of the draw, and hopefully might get the slightly better run here. But I think you can back both of them and get a result. So Fine Point on top, but Grabini definitely danger.
The Starlight Stakes is next, 1,100 metres. For the sprinters, you come up with anything here?
Yeah, I've gone for Malkovich. I think he can resume here and win. This is a very ordinary affair here. I think it's got the right form lines to run well in this. Goes well enough with Fresh, doesn't mind the sting out of the track, and trialled quite well for this at Hawkesbury and Rosehill prior to that. So I think he can run really well here, and certainly hardest to beat.
I think quick tempo's flying. I think going really well, gets through the wet, gets Jay Collett here, and now deep into a prep on a quick backup. is on top for me. At 1,100 metres at this stage, I'm going to roll with it and think it can run well. From Dragonstone, who was owned by Quick Tempo last start, but is on the quick backup, may well improve. And interesting horse here, Conscript, who it's Gerald Ryan fresh, which is always a tick, but no trolls, so I don't really know where to put it. So Quick Tempo is a bet I'll have, and we'll see how the market goes with Malkovich to whether I maybe cover it or not. But I think that's about the race for me here. The 9th is a Christmas Cup, 2,400 metres at the moment. Serpentine's still in, obviously still nommed in Melbourne as well. I can't really come up with much here apart from the fact I'm just going to maybe have an each-way bet on Little Mix again. A horse I found in Melbourne last time out off the back of a nice Queensland win, up and going, has avoided some of those grand finals and gets Karen, who always rides these races well, at a staying distance. Wet Tracker 2, which is obviously a tick. Let's go with it on top. I couldn't really find out with much else to talk about. Maybe I'll even have a save on Torrens. I'll see how I'm feeling. But have you got any better clarity?
Not really, mate. It's an awful race. I'm just sticking with the winning form of Little Mix. I find that these horses that have the winning form in this type of company perform well enough in this, and I expect it'll probably finish in the top 3 and give the race a shake based on that. So that's the way I'm going.
And let's wrap up with benchmark 78, the traditional 1,100 metre close to the day. I assume so. It's just the closest exit for the Barry boys get home, because it seems to be every week we finish that way. But interesting race. I'm going to finish covering 2 horses. One's the up-and-going Smashing Eagle, who's been up since last Christmas. As we head towards this Christmas, it's $7. It's on top. Will run well. From Legio 10, blue colours, Nash in the last. Nice enough horse, and goes in second pick. $1 billion baby did trial really well, and unfortunately have to carry Jet Stanley, but we'll go in and get the quaddie, it goes in. But I think I can cover 8 and 9 and get a result out of this. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I've gone for Smashing Eagle as well. It's up and going. This race looks like it might set up well for it. It's got the better barrier draw than Legio 10, and I think with any luck in running again, you'll have another horse that won't be far away.
Beauty. For progretracing.com.au, my quaddie for Festival Stakes Day. Let's go with number 2, Rustic Steel, number 5, Fine Point, 7, Fearson, 15, Acquitted, 17, Grabini. Second leg, 1, Malkovich, 2, Dragonstone, 3, Quick Tempo, 6, Conscript. Third leg, 1, Skylab, 4, Torrens, 9, Little Mix. And let's come home with $5 billion baby, 8, Legio 10, 9, Smashing Eagle, and 10, Salisano. I'm going to make my best on the card. Race 6, number 4, Eaglemont. But if Tavi Time's here, it'll win. And my value on a tricky-ish day is race 4, number 3, Orient Secret. It's around $13. And 7.5 Acquitted. If it's here, I think it's over the odds currently. What have you come up with?
Yeah, my best is race 8, number 1, Malkovich. Think it'll be winning, but if Tabby Time comes here, as you've stated, think it will be winning. And my value bet comes up in race 10, number 9, Smashing Eagle.
Beautiful. A couple from Adelaide before I let you get up north. Race 3, number 4, Lights of Broadway should win again. And race 10, number 11, Port Albert will run well, who's also nommed at Rosehill, in fact. And Pontedera is resuming there at about $15. I think is over the odds. Maybe there's a Quinella to play to be had. Let's head to Dooman. What have you got up there? As I mentioned, Acquitted is up there. But anything else?
I've got, mate, race 4, number 4, Deep Respect. I think it can run well. I'm going race 6, number 12, Tajaki, flying at the moment. I think he can take care of Acquitted if it comes there. If it doesn't, definitely be winning. Race 7, number 2, Party for 2. I think it will be winning. And I think race 8, number 1, Rothfire, resuming is a good thing.
Beautiful. CJ Graham up there is riding really well, by the way. She's a lovely addition to those ranks. Anyway, check out progretracing.com.au for everything going on there. And is Alberk any chance in the last there? Sorry, just flicking through that. One of your mates?
Who?
No? Alberk. What a horse, eh?
I did.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
no chance, not mine.
Okay. All good. Just asking.
Maybe the 3 manhood after yourself, mate.
There's too many jokes with hitting the face to come across there. So we will head to check it out because we'll do a Moonee Valley and Kenzo preview as well tonight. Check that out and subscribe at progretracing.com.au. And let's get out of here, Beaver.